The world will again be focused on South Africa as we host the 17th Climate Change Conference, which focuses on people, integrity, performance and sustainability, creating a prosperous and equitable society that lives in harmony with our environment. Let's take a look. Over the millennia, the sun has risen to greet every new day with life-giving light. As the nocturnal creatures that share our globe seek refuge from illumination, a different set of life forms bask in their turn and the life cycle. For thousands of years, this cycle has been progressing, but a young species on Earth takes its inhabitants to a new age of economic development.
COP17 is the 17th meeting of the Conference of Parties to what we call the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It's mainly a negotiations platform where member states to the United Nations system and those that have signed the convention come to agree on new measures to basically cut down global carbon dioxide emissions. For us, it's important because it is one way in which we can have a common commitment as global leaders as to what we can do to address the primary cause of climate change, which is CO2 emissions. And South Africa it's known for hosting a number of international conferences.
The responsibility of environmental awareness has fallen on our shoulders. A responsibility that sees the sun greeting our planet each day, as this young species has learned to seamlessly integrate its taste for development with a green conscience. Hello Mzansi, my name is Siphokazi Sowazi, and for the next few weeks we will be focusing on COP17 MOP7 conference to be held in Durban, South Africa.
Business has got a lot to do to preserve, to protect and to conserve the environment, and it has to start in the business floor, so they cannot do it somewhere else. So business cannot say we'll do this for communities, we'll do this for government. It has got to say that where they operate, where they make profits, that's also where they must actually protect the environment. For example, the energy sector must be able to say we need to cut down the amount of carbon emissions our production systems emit. The transport sector must say that we need to use a low-emitting carbon fuel. The agricultural sector must start saying that what kind of water and how much water do we use, because all those things contribute to the pressures on the natural resource base. Those countries that are called Annex A, which have signed the Kyoto Protocol, which is a legal framework that says cut emissions by this much by this time. And then the COP17, which is the Conference of Parties, which is those developing countries that do not have fixed legally binding reduction targets, but that must be seen to be doing something. So you'll have those two meetings running parallel together and interfering into one another. But you'd also have a lot of activities and showcasing and side events to start saying those that are not busy negotiating the hard text or the hard agreement, what are they doing to respond to this climate change threat that we're facing?
We enter a new age, an age that no longer sees our growth take place at the expense of our habitation. Hello Mzansi, my name is Siphokazi Sowazi, and for the next few weeks we will be focusing on COP17 MOP7 conference to be held in Durban, South Africa. We will also look at the role of private sector in preserving the environment. The world will again be focused on South Africa as we host the 17th Climate Change Conference, which focuses on people, integrity, performance and sustainability.
Well, we've started doing a number of things to prepare for the conference. At a high-level political level, as a government, we've now finalized our white paper on climate change, which is a framework for how South Africa, both in business, in government and in society, responds to the threat. But we've also started engaging in a number of mobilization activities to make the South African on the street know what this big event that we're spending money on, that we're inconveniencing tourists on, is going to bring. So we'll have a cycle tour that would move from Beitbridge on the Zimbabwean border up to Durban, where people will be biking for climate change. We've got a kiddies competition where we're asking the little tabbies to basically give us paintings of the world as they would like to see it with or without climate change. So it's an interesting piece of activity for everyone, and we hope that South Africans and Africans as well as the world see it for what it is and come to Durban prepared to engage and to talk and to show what they're doing to try to help us save tomorrow today.
We enter a new age, an age that no longer sees our growth take place at the expense of our habitation, but rather with the cost to the environment closest to our hearts.
The world will again be focused on South Africa as we host the 17th Climate Change Conference, which focuses on people, integrity, performance and sustainability, creating a prosperous and equitable society that lives in harmony with our environment. Let's take a look.
When we talk about climate change, we use a climate speak. That's a language that people sometimes think that it's actually beyond us. We don't know what these people are saying. COP17, COP7, and so on. What is this climate change? People sometimes tend to think that it's when the weather changes. It's actually a process that has been led to by the various processes of changes that happens in weather over a long period of time. The globe warming up to the very unbearable degrees, and that also then leading to the melting of the ices, leading to the oceans now, water then getting over the levels, the sea levels that never used to be the same, increasing disasters all over the world, increasing droughts, increasing change of weather patterns, and all those then leading to inability for the world to be able to produce food, sometimes even leading to disastrous situations that leave ordinary people in particular feel the impacts of climate change more than any other person.
Firmly fixed on the environment, Ms. Molewa and her department strives to ensure that Mzansi plays its part in the upcoming COP17 conference.
Hello Mzansi, my name is Siphokazi Sowazi, and for the next few weeks we will be focusing on COP17 MOP7 conference to be held in Durban, South Africa.
Let me just say that we actually started working on the climate change response policy way back in 2005, working with our scientists, and have gone through a whole lot of research to really ascertain that what we are doing is based on fact, it's based on well-researched science, and therefore we are very proud today that we have the aspects of science having been cleared, but also consultation with other departments that have happened. And what makes me bring in the issue of other departments is because the response measure itself has got to be coming from various other departments, 11 departments to be specific. So the whole lot of areas of mitigation, whole lot of area of adaptation are very clearly spelled out for us to be able to reduce the carbon emissions. And linked to that, it's an entire whole lot of action. Therefore, on the ground, that's really intended to get our people to respond on their own, in their own right. And therefore, the question of education and understanding of our own people on the ground and even beyond the scientists has been quite important, and we therefore thought, and have deemed it fit actually, that it's necessary to respond to that by education.
Firmly fixed on the environment, Ms. Molewa and her department strives to ensure that Mzansi plays its part in the upcoming COP17 conference.
The world will again be focused on South Africa as we host the 17th Climate Change Conference, which focuses on people, integrity, performance and sustainability, creating a prosperous and equitable society that lives in harmony with our environment. Let's take a look.
One of the Department of Environmental Affairs' strategic objectives is to proactively plan, manage and prevent pollution and environmental degradation to ensure a sustainable and healthy environment. Our leader in combating climate change, Minister Edna Molewa, heads up the department's efforts.
All things being equal, if we respond as a world in accordance to the discussions and the decisions that we make at world level, if each and every country makes enough efforts in a shared vision, we should be able to decrease those temperatures of the world, but also at the same time reverse the impacts of climate change. It will take us longer, obviously, but we must act. And we can't see how particular parts of the society can act alone, let's say government, without civil society, without ordinary people on the ground, without business. Each one of us has got a carbon footprint. And therefore the message is that let's all reduce our carbon footprint, even though we can sit here and think that we are not the emitters. The reality is that we must continue to engage the emitters, but we must also do our part in a country, but also worldwide.
There is a new era of green for Mzansi, and the Department of Environmental Affairs strives forth with an eye on the future.